Thumbnail achieved. So you picked up your first FPV drone and you want to impress your friends, family, loved ones with your sick manual piloting skills. The only problem is that you've been struggling to fly and your drone looks like a drunk pigeon trying to fly off with someone's breadstick. Am I speaking from experience? Maybe. Well, if that's you, I've discovered a deceptively simple training drill that's been helping me build up the manual FPV control skills. And my goal for this video is to help you too. Before I get any further, I'm Mike, nice to meet you. I am just a regular dude with a camera. I'm not a drone expert or an expert FPV pilot, but I do have a fresh perspective and I am probably like you, still learning how to fly. Now, I'm pretty sure you're wondering why I'm wearing this headband. This is Danny Russo's headband from The Karate Kid. So if you've never watched that movie, I highly recommend watching that movie after watching this video. In one of the scenes, Danny Russo, the Karate Kid, is talking with Mr. Miyagi, his sensei. And Mr. Miyagi is basically tells him to wash his cars and don't forget to do the wax on, wax off method. And in the moment, Danny's like, what the heck are you talking about? Like, how does this translate to karate? Little did Danny know, after he washed those cars, he went on to do some karate later in the movie, and he discovered that muscle memory with the wax on, wax off helped him in that fight. So to get to my point and why I'm wearing this headband for this video is that the wax on, wax off method for Karate Kid is the equivalent to hovering a drone manually in FPV. Now, before you start to roast me in the comments, I discovered this method from another more experienced FPV pilot. I did not just pull this out of my butt. And it does seem kind of ridiculous, like how is hovering my drone in place gonna help me learn how to pilot and fly the drone around? But when I was doing the hovering method, it was like helping me build the fine motor skills, because when you're in manual mode, you're in control of literally everything. And just the act of hovering that drone in place is a challenge in and of itself. And when I build the muscle memory when I'm hovering, it helps me like get my brain back into just like flying the drone around, as opposed to being like, oh, how do I turn my nose left? How do I turn my nose right? Wait, I actually did that backwards. That's probably another problem. I think I'm dyslexic. It does sound easy to do on paper to just hover your drone in place, but it's definitely, there's more to it than meets the eye, especially if there's any wind. But as I struggled through trying to learn how to hover my drone, I have a couple of tips that might help you. First, I would recommend keeping your camera tilt, this little guy, between 0 and maybe like 10 degrees. I don't know if that's picking up in the camera very well, but when you're flying manually in FPV and you adjust your camera tilt, like if you adjust it to like 20%, your drone is like flying like this, and that's what looks level on your goggles. And when you're trying to hover and keep the horizon level, you're gonna just keep going forward, and you're gonna be like, what the heck? Like, why is this so hard? But if you keep your goggles or your camera like kind of straight, it'll be easier to like learn that hovering movement instead of like fighting like the forward motion of the drone all the time, because you'll be like pulling back on the right stick constantly, and it was kind of rough for me at first. You can actually practice hovering with or without your goggles on. Like what I did, I just like started with my goggles on, and then I just like quickly pulled my goggles up, and I just like, it kind of feels different when you're actually seeing the drone and seeing how it moves with your throttle control. So if that works for you, I would try that option. Also, I would highly recommend flying this over grass when you're trying to practice your hovering. I have slammed this drone more times than I care to admit into the concrete, and the sound of that happening is just, ugh. Oh gosh, I'm surprised this drone is still in one piece. You're a tough little guy. Let's cut to the flight of the day after doing some hover training, and there are a couple of oopsies and bloopers. I do crash at the end, almost into the water. Ooh, that was a close call, but I found it. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you sticking around. I just thought it was a really cool reference, like to put the hover training together with the Karate Kid, just like, I don't know. I think like starting with the basic fundamentals is super important when learning how to fly manually. I appreciate you watching. If you want to support the channel, feel free to like and subscribe, and you can see another video right here. And I'll see you in the next video, hopefully with another fresh new idea. Bye-bye.